Hi everyone, I'm Holly with Quilting Pantographs. I'd like to thank the Grace Company for putting on the fantastic Fall Festival and Quilt Show and for inviting us to participate. Don't forget to visit the vendor hall. You'll find great prices and coupons. Visit our booth at Quilting Pantographs and grab a coupon for one free pantograph at our website, quiltingpantographs.com. Another way to get free patterns is to send us pictures. We'd like to see your projects with our designs on them. We're going to put the pictures up on our gallery page on the website and use them on social media like Facebook and Instagram. So send us your pictures. We'll give you free patterns to thank you and stock up on your pantograph collection. This is my long arm, and this is my Qnique 14 Plus from the Grace Company. I love my Qnique. I've named him Johnny 5, and I've had him for about 6 years. The Qnique sits on a 12-foot frame, also by the Grace Company, and I love my frame and setup. I don't have the Creative Touch software for this Qnique, but I do have the back handles, and I like to stand up and stitch out my pantographs that way. See, here's the pantograph on the table, and you follow the lines with a laser light. Now, I do find myself enjoying quilting even more sitting down on a stool with rollers that can glide back and forth across the floor. And I do that because I installed this, which is the Precise Pantograph System. It hooks to the throat of the long arm right here, and as you can see, it doesn't take up any of your stitching space. They make it so that these will fit on all long arms, and there's a laser light that you hook to the top and goes straight down to your table where you can follow the lines. The handles are down here. They're very close to the tabletop. So as you're stitching, because you're low on your seat and your arms and hands are so much lower and closer to the table, you're getting a very smooth line of stitching, and it's very precise, just like the system is called, Precise Pantograph System. So this is what we've got here in the studio. We love our Qnique. Thank you, Grace Company, for making such a wonderful machine and frame. And so let's hop back over to the table and let's talk about what is a pantograph and how can you use them and incorporate them into your various projects. So what is a pantograph? Well, in the quilting and crafting world, a pantograph is a design represented by a single line that flows from one end to the other without breaking. So if you stitch this out, it would continually flow, do its design, and end at the same line point as this side, from left to right or right to left, whichever way you're working. You can also repeat that pattern over and over again by simply hooking them together. Because those line points meet up right here, it will continue the flow over and over down your project. If you're working on a quilt, you can do multiple rows of it across like that. This sample is Abby's Joyful Heart, and it looks just beautiful stitched out on a project. We've had people stitch them out on quilts, table runners. So what can you use pantographs on? Well, they're not just for quilts. You can use them on your long arm, you can use them on domestic machines, and you can stitch them out on quilts, table runners, hot pads. We've had people use them, just a single version, one widthwise, on a purse, tote bags. You could do them, the sky's the limit. You could use these patterns on a jacket, simply anything that you want. At our store, when you purchase a pattern, you get a zip file, a folder, and in that folder are 15 different file types. You'll get several that are for paper, for printing out. The rest of them are going to be digital files that you use to import into your systems. A lot of the systems and machines, they use the .qli file, and I know that the Creative Touch uses that one. And we've tested on all the different machines. But these 15 files, there's bound to be something in there that'll work on yours. So with the paper pantographs, you need to print them up and tape them together, and then you lay them out across the back of your frame like we did over here. So first you would figure out, what is your project? Maybe it's a baby quilt and it's going to be 45 inches wide. So you're going to need to figure out if you print it up on an 8.5 by 11 paper, and this is a standard home printer. How many would you need to go across for 45 inches? You can also use a large format printer, and those come out much larger and printed out on 11 by 17 inch paper. Look how nice and big that one is. This is Daisy Bell pattern, and it was printed on a large format printer. Now I realize not everyone has one of those, but if you invest in one and you like your patterns larger, then it really is an investment. I found mine on Facebook Marketplace for $50. Another way that you can print is if you take the PDF files and maybe take them over to FedEx Express where they print, and they can print them out for you on a rolled paper. You'll see how it can be printed out on a long roll. I still need to trim this one. I have not trimmed it yet. The PDF file that you use to print this print roll one also includes a nameplate at the top. And it tells you the name of the pattern and gives you a little sample of what that pattern looks like. And this is really nice for when all of your pantographs are rolled up, and then you can see at a glance what you have here. And you'll see a sample right there. Right there's the picture and the name. So they're easy to find and grab when you have several of them stored. It's very easy for you to identify which one you're looking for. And it's a great way to showcase what you have for your customers so they can look through things as well. Another way that you can use a pantograph is to print it up and then trace on top of this. This is quilting paper by Golden Threads. You can get this at their website or you can get it on Amazon. It is a very, very thin paper, almost like a tissue paper. So you print your design and then you lay this over it and trace out the pattern onto the Golden Threads paper. And then what you do is you pin it to your project, and then you just stitch right over the paper and the lines. So you're stitching the paper right to your project. When you're done, you simply rip the paper off. So I did a test, and I did half of this with the Golden Threads paper and the other half with regular gift wrapping tissue. And although they both worked really well, and I was able to rip them off and pull it off of here very easily, I still feel like the Golden Threads quilting paper worked a bit better. It just, you got more off at once. And as you can see, I did this one. This is Crease Bear, a very, very popular pattern at our shop. And you can see on the back how beautiful it's stitched out. Isn't that cute? And this is one that was done the same way. And this is Abby's heart. It's actually Abby's joyful heart. And this one was stitched the same way on top of that paper. And as you can see, in the front and the back, and they just came out so cute, didn't they? So now we're ready to assemble our paper pantograph. We've printed up all that we're going to need. Maybe I needed 6 across, so I've got those 6 printed up. We're going to take and overlap one paper over the other. And if you watch your lines, you'll see how they'll line up. So in order to hold it nice and steady for when I'm ready to tape, I'm going to go ahead and use my glue stick. And I'm going to put a few dots on here just to get a good secure hold. Then I'm going to take the papers and I'm going to overlap them, find my line shadows right there, and there we go. Line those up, press it down just long enough that it'll hold till we get to the taping part. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take my marker and we're going to fill in the lines that are faded from the overlap. So I draw in my lines on my pattern like that, and we are done and ready to tape. Next, we're going to take our tape and figure out the length we need and make sure we get it from one end to the other, plus a little bit, because we'll wrap it to the back. Now, when we go to put this on, we won't get paper lifting and be awkward because we've pasted underneath it. So I'm going to go ahead and tape down that seam. Let me move that for you. Tape that seam down, lift it up, and then just roll that over that edge, come here, do that edge, and that's good. Now, we don't want to have a problem with the paper gapping or flipping up or getting, ripped when we roll it. So we're going to turn it over and we're going to put a piece of tape across this one too. And this is reinforcement, and it's so important to the quality of your paper pantograph. It just gives it so much more stability. I really encourage you to always tape the back side as well. So we'll flip it over and that down and that down, and there we have our first 2 panels are together. We have a nice continuing flowing line from one to the other. Sometimes we call these edge-to-edge patterns as well. And then don't forget, we want to put our nameplate on here as well. We're done. Now, of course, I needed this a little bit wider, so I would continue taping more versions of the design until it's the width that I wanted. But as you can see right here, we have the pattern name and a sample of the design on it. There's your nameplate right there. You have the name and the design. The nice thing about printing and taping your own is that, if you have any issues, maybe you spill your coffee on it, or it does get ripped, or you lose it, simply go back to your computer and open the folder again, and you'll find that file and print up another one. And that'll just, it's just so nice to have that file. You own it now. So that's how you use the pantograph. You print it, you tape it, and then you lay it out and you stitch it. Thank you for joining me today. I hope I was able to offer you some useful information and helpful tips. Don't forget to visit the vendor hall, grab the coupon from our booth at Quilting Pantographs, and get a free pantograph pattern. Thank you again to the Grace Company for putting on the fantastic Fall Festival and Quilt Show. And as always, happy stitching.